Today is a great day, not just for those of you who are here to listen to President Obama in a few minutes, but for the hundreds of thousands of teachers, parents, principals, school superintendents, and lawmakers across the country who have devoted their energy, their passion, their hearts and souls over the years to improving our nation's schools. Today we cross an important threshold in education reform. Today we're announcing the draft guidelines for states to apply for the $4.35 billion Race to the Top Fund. Today we're here to announce and celebrate a new Race to the Top in schoolhouses all across America. Since the Education Department was created in 1980, 8 of my predecessors have stood here. All of them fought passionately to improve our schools, but none of them had the resources to encourage innovation that we have today. In fact, if you take all the discretionary money for reform that every one of my predecessors had and add it all together for the last 29 years in a row, it is still a much smaller pot of money for reform than the Race to the Top Fund that we are announcing today. For states, for district leaders, for unions, for businesses, and for nonprofits, the Race to the Top is the equivalent of education reform, the moonshot. And the President is determined, I am determined, and our team is determined not to miss this opportunity. Over the past 6 months, many states have adopted reforms that would have been almost unthinkable just a year ago. Earlier this spring, 46 states signed on to a state-led process to develop a common core of K-12 standards in English, language arts, and math. At the same time, states such as Tennessee, Rhode Island, Indiana, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Colorado, and Illinois have lifted restrictions on charter school growth. So despite the obstacles, I am full of hope about America's capacity for transformational change. I can see it, and I can taste it, and I can feel it everywhere I go. As I said today in the Washington Post, the edifice of education reform will take years to build, but the race to the top starts today. Now is our time.
Please welcome Matthew Austin, the Secretary of Education, Arnie Duncan, and the President of the United States.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Matthew Austin. I am an 8th grade honor student from the Howard University Middle School of Mathematics and Science, located here in Washington, D.C. We love our school, and we also love our teacher, Ms. Kim Worthy. She is here today, and she was recently named the 2009 D.C. Teacher of the Year. She inspires me to learn, to work hard, and to stay focused on my education. And now, I am very honored to introduce someone who inspires school children all across America to work hard and to stay at school and to be successful. Please welcome the President of the United States, Mr. Barack Obama.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please. Thank you. Everybody have a seat. Thank you. Thank you for the outstanding introduction from Matthew. Because improving education is central to rebuilding our economy, we set aside over $4 billion in the Recovery Act to promote improvements in schools. This is one of the largest investments in education reform in American history. And rather than divvying it up and handing it out, we are letting states and school districts compete for it. That's how we can incentivize excellence and spur reform and launch a race to the top in America's public schools. This competition will not be based on politics or ideology or the preferences of a particular interest group. Instead, it will be based on a simple principle: whether a state is ready to do what works. We will use the best evidence available to determine whether a state can meet a few key benchmarks for reform. And states that outperform the rest will be rewarded with a grant. Not every state will win, and not every school district will be happy with the results. But America's children, America's economy, America itself will be better for it. Better standards, better teaching, better schools, data-driven results. That's what we will reward with our Race to the Top fund. But as I've said before, fixing the problem in our schools is not a task for Washington alone. It will take school administrators, board presidents, and local union leaders making collective bargaining a catalyst and not an impediment to reform. It will take business leaders asking what they can do to invest in education in their communities. It will take parents asking the right questions at their child's school and making sure their children are doing their homework at night. I'm absolutely confident that if I do my part, if Arnie does his part, if our teachers do their part, if you do yours, if the American people do theirs, then we will not only strengthen our economy over the long run, and we will not only make America's entire education system the envy of the world, but we will launch a race to the top that will prepare every child everywhere in America for the challenges of the 21st century. I'm convinced we can do that. But it's not going to come easy. It's not going to come quick. We're going to have staying power. We're going to have to be consistent. We're going to have to put the interests of our children ahead of our own parochial interests. But we have no choice. And I'm absolutely confident that we can make it happen. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you.